And we're back. The hashtag is NewsGang at Citizen TV Kenya. Thank you for staying with us. We stay on the issue of tribe in this country because quite a few despicable things have been said in the last couple of days on both sides of the political divide. Quite a few despicable things have been said amongst Wananchi in person on social media. But this all came from somewhere. Like, we're trying to sort of trace the genesis of this, Jay. Where do you think this began?
Very well. Yvonne, I'll contextualize this based on what Professor Nyong'o said on Sunday during the burial ceremony of Raila Amolo Odinga, where he said that one of the last tasks that Raila had assigned him was to come up with a paper that would explain the origin of tribalism in Kenya. That Raila had indicated to him that tribalism was a creation of the colonial master, such that the Kenyan people who had previously been known, if you came from, let's say, the Kikuyu community, you'd be called the people from Gikuyu. If you came from Ukambani, it would be the people from Akam. So he said Raila had requested him to do a paper finding out how this came about, the issues around tribalism, and how best Kenya can deal with it. And I think Professor Nyong'o owes us that paper so that we can at least find a way of moving forward and leaving all these issues around tribe and negative ethnicity behind us. Because if it's troubled Raila to his deathbed, then we owe it to him as a people to do better and earn a place in the history of this nation as a generation that did away with this tribe thing.
Linus?
Look, Yvonne, we have a problem with the foundation. And it's time we admitted that this country needs to be found afresh. Because our main tool of political mobilization became tribe. And even as politicians condemn Kahiga right now, you've seen that even at presidential levels, you see delegations that are organized along tribe. This delegation from the Kisii region, from the Meru region, Somali region, Maasai, it has become the accepted form of mobilization. And that is a problem right there. Because nations are organized around ideas. We need as a country to make a decision, because there are nations that made decisions along those lines of tribe, and one such nation is Yugoslavia,
yes,
which was a very big country that for a long time was one of the closest friends of Kenya. Yugoslavia, the ethnic nationalism broke it into pieces. That's why we now have Serbia. Bosnia. We have Croatia, you have Bosnia-Herzegovina, and these are tribes. So, if you remember, I think, was it in the aftermath of the 2017 election, Tuachane, Reketumano by David Ndii,
yes,
that we split this country. And
cruel marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, he called it.
Yeah, so there is that option. But there's also the option of retracing our footsteps and going by just how we function as a country, away from politics. We are a good people that live in harmony with each other. And look at the music festival, for example, that is a national tradition in schools. Look at the cultural nights where we all attend to experience the culture of other communities. We can retrace our footsteps and correct the one problem that we had, and that is lack of an ideological grounding. As we were doing oathing here in the 60s, Julius Kambarage Nyerere was building Tanzania around Kiswahili, one language, around Undugu. You remember Tanzanians call themselves Ndugu. They call each other Ndugu even in bad situations, considering what is happening there currently is not very brotherly.
Right.
And But those are their foundations that made them Tanzanians. For us Kenyans, we lacked that glue at the beginning that make us understand what statehood is, what nationhood is. So we have some work of reimagining this country again, and there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity. When the youth came out of the streets last year, remember what they carried? The flag. Yeah. And they were speaking English. There was something very polished about the demos of 18th June to 25th of June before it all erupted into the violence. And by the way, how did they end? There's a bit of ethnicity that went in as well to just divide them along tribal lines. And we've seen politicians who tell you, no, everyone will go, every Gen Z will go back to their tribe. Mm-hmm. Look at that. So as we condemn Kahiga, there are a lot of other negative voices that dominate national debate, not just national debate, but national thought on even how the next election will be conducted. It's already, using tribalism as the engine and as the basis of how to mobilize for the next election. So this is an opportunity. Let's have this discussion about tribes.
Yvonne, as we finish,
yes,
1 minute.
Yes.
Kenyans, we are kind, generous people. We do a story about a student who has no school fees. These are now people sending wanalipa. We do something about someone who needs help to go for medical care. People show up. People call in. Story haijaisha hewani. We don't ask what's the tribe of that child. When we see an injustice, everyone stands up and shouts and talks about it. Albert Ojwang, when he died, the outpouring of anger and grief was across the country. So when we come together at such moments, we shed off those tribal jackets and coats and suits and dump them and fight for the right thing. And during those moments, we come together as Kenyans, as people who are trying to help someone who needs help, or trying to speak out against an injustice, or you're trying to have a better Kenya, because that's what we all want. And during those moments, we need to remember those moments at the back of our minds when we are speaking out against someone because of their tribe, or when we are shouting, "Mwizi wetu, kama ni mwizi ni mwizi wetu." So those moments when you come together and do good for someone just because they're a fellow human being, they're a fellow Kenyan, that's the best version of ourselves. We should always remember.
Yeah, I want us to listen to Governor Nyong'o on, what you were saying, JB.
Issue of tribalism. The word tribe came from the colonialist. As far as Kenyans are concerned, we knew people as Jo, Jo Luo, Jo Kikuyu, Jakamba, the people of. And therefore the word tribe is a retrogressive word and concept. Do a paper on the issue of nationalities and the state, the modern state, so that the central committee of the party can discuss it and put it before the party as the understanding of the people of the party on tribalism and the death of tribalism and the birth of nationalities are the only progressive concept in democratic times.
Yeah, so as we then decide which way we go as a country, perhaps we just need to have one of those national identities where we say, like the condemnation should be so swift, and perhaps not even needed, that a person just knows, oh, I've messed up here, I'm going to resign. Like the calls shouldn't come. Exactly. Where as a nation we have an identity, we know what we want, what we don't want, who we are. Like that person is pariah status. You go out there to the field in the desert and you now live with the wild because you no longer deserve to be a part of the human race, at least the Kenyan one. And I hope that's something we can do. Jamila, you said we do that in times of education, health and everything, but somehow in politics seem to remember certain things. I want us to move forward because that's where things go now, which is what happens next. And right after, in fact, I'm sorry, not even right after his burial, while his coffin was lying there on Sunday in Bondo, the clamour for the soul of ODM, the clamour for the future of Raila's legacy, that is what we want to discuss. at this moment. And I just want us to take a look at some of that, what happens going forward. I would like us to listen to various people who started to talk about what next and where we go from here, and who indeed will be the one to take us there. Let's start with Winnie Odinga, the late Raila Odinga's daughter.
Your Excellency, our people appreciate you honoring our father. Thank you for standing with us. You should also know, in case you are wondering, I'm ready to come back home, if you are wondering. To all the leaders we visited around the world, I will return personally to thank you. Thank you, Kenya. God bless you all. God bless the Republic. God bless Baba's legacy. Long, the king is dead, but long live the crown.
So on one hand, there is the family, and who personally, at least on that level, takes on Raila's legacy. But then on the broader front, national front, political front and governance, it was which way ODM, which way broad-based government. Let's listen to Senator Ledama Olekina.
Before Baba went, he showed us the way. He brought us to the broad-based government. And I want to tell you, that is where we are. And Mr. President, I want to assure you that, you know, we always say that Baba is right. Baba was right when he was alive, and Baba is still right when he's lying and when he's in heaven. Baba will always tell us, go right, and would not question. And I want to assure you, Mr. President, for what you've done for us, we shall remain united to be able to go the way Baba wanted us to go, to remain in the broad-based government. There are challenges ahead, but we are determined.
So before Baba went, he showed us the way. You know, they always say that Baba is right. But now, Baba is right, it depends. Let's listen to the Secretary General of the party.
Baba Raila Amolo Odinga alizungumza wazi mbele ya nchi nzima tarehe 22 mwezi uliopita mbele ya hawa wabunge katika hoteli ya Agile pale Nairobi. Baba aliongea kwa kinywa chake mwenyewe, na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo mtu ambaye amelala. Alisema yeye mwenyewe, akasema kama chama lazima tujiandae kwa ajili ya uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027. Na wale ambao wanaeneza mambo mengine hapa, Baba alisema, who has told you? Who has told you? Who has told you? Kwa hivyo sisi tutafuata the last standing instruction ya Baba ambaye alitoa chini ya siku 23 ambazo zimepita kabla afariki.
So the Secretary General on that, but the Deputy Party Leader also had this to say.
On March this year, Baba Raila Odinga aliweka kidole kwa mkataba 10 points agenda ambayo ni masuala ya Wakenya. Mheshimiwa Rais, umesaidia ndugu yako vikubwa, lakini Baba atakuwa na furaha sana kule mbinguni kama hiyo 10 point agenda itakamilika vile alikuwa anataka. Na Baba mwenyewe alikuwa amesema tarehe March next year 2026 yale masuala 10 yawe yametekeleza. Kwa hivyo Rais, I know you have the ability, I know you have the capability, I know you have the power. Please make Baba happy in heaven.
And then there's the party chair.
We said always that this our father, when he says left, we go left. When he says right, we go right. When he says fire, we fire. the last instruction he left us with, and with a very clear mind. And I remember him speaking at the burial of the late Dr. Phoebe Asio, and he said he made a clear decision to work with you for the stability and unity of the nation inside the broad-based government. That is the last standing instruction that Baba gave us. And as a people and as a party, that is where we will stand.
Okay, so first, before we get into that, Jothurwa means what, Jay?
Jothurwa simply means our people.
Our people.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So rallying our people in terms of the way Baba would have wanted us to go,
Exactly,
is what they're saying. What's at stake? Because this was before he was buried, before he was put in the ground. But did it start here?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I think the battle for the soul of the Orange Democratic Movement Party has been on for the last several months. And I think it started right when Raila Odinga put his heart to the ring to fight for the AUC chairmanship. And therefore, there were certain positions within the party that they decided they would fail in his absence. Then when the likes of Hassan Joho, Chairman Mbadi, and Deputy Party Leader Oparanya moved to government, then the vacancy that was there. The problem is Raila Odinga is the glue that held ODM. And like every father would do, his word in the party showed the direction. And that is why you see the scrambling, everybody claiming that he had a last word with him. So if you ask what it has stake, I will say it is the soul of ODM. Maybe after KANU and Ford Kenya, the longest running party in this country, because we've seen instances where since Mwai Kibaki became the president, every subsequent election, the person elected president does not run on the party he was the previous elections. Yeah. But you've seen consistently ODM has weathered this storm. So anybody who has the soul of ODM has a larger bargaining stake in Kenyan political body. And therefore, that is why everybody wants to be seen as that person who had Raila's ear and had Raila's final word on the direction that the party must go to. It is going to be stormy ahead for ODM as a party.
Yeah, and, you know, even with that, it is the question as to whether to stay in government or not. So, you know, on one hand, there's what's happening with the party, and we'll come back and talk about, you know, this party and how it moves forward without what you call the glue holding it together. But also about, you know, what happens as in the lead up to 2027 and beyond. Let's listen to Governor Abdul Swamad.
Fika mwaka 2027, baba, mambo ni mawili. Umetufunza ya kuwa kuna njia nyingi ya kuwa kanga. Tunasema hivi, mwaka 2027 hatukai katika upinzani. Mwaka 2027 we will not be in the opposition. Mambo mawili yatafanyika. Agosti tunapiga kura. September we are either in government or we are government.
And he seems to be speaking the same language as President William Ruto.
Ile kitu mimi nataka kuhakikishie kwa mapenzi ya Mungu, ODM will either form the next government or be part of the next government. Ile kitu siwezi kukubali. Ile kitu kwa heshima ya huyu shujaa wetu, ile kitu siwezi kukubali, na nitafanya juu chini, Mungu anisaidie. ni wale ambao wanataka kung'oa chama ya ODM na kwenda kuchezea karata ya upinzani kule nje. Hiyo haitawezekana.
Okay, just so that we're clear, President William Ruto is the party leader of UDA
and also
and the Kenya Kwanza coalition. He's not in ODM anymore, hasn't been in ODM for a while. So, you know, in what capacity was he speaking? But,
you know,
I'm just checking, unless
he speaks
something
with a lot
changed.
of certainty,
yeah,
and everyone else does. The governor of Mombasa says that hatutakuwa upinzani tena. I don't know what I just said, because a governor means you lead a government. Tutakuwa kwa serikali, but you're leading a government in Mombasa. So the political class has really messed up the appreciation of Kenyans on the Constitution and how the structure of governance is as per the Constitution. Because you have 48 governments, 1 national, 47 counties. If Governor Abdul Somad wants to ensure that he gets a second term, say it, do it. You're in government, you're running a county, work for the people will decide. If the other leaders also want the same, say as much. When I listen to the president saying that he will work so hard, juu chini, to ensure that nobody plays with the ODM, I'm wondering, is he saying he's going to leave UDA to join ODM and become its leader? Or is ODM and UDA going to merge, either to merge as political parties like happened? It was the political working formula for the Jubilee coalition. Come 2017, they merged into the Jubilee Party. Are you going to see the ODM and UDA merging? Are you going to see them working together as a coalition of Kenya Kwanza and ODM, or is it UDA and ODM? And what would that mean? Listening to the other leaders, I hear Governor Wanga quoting the funeral of Phoebe Asio back in July 2025, slightly under 3 months before Raila Odinga died. And yes, he spoke at length and explained why they came in to stabilize the country, to help the country because the military were on the streets. But at the same time, you find Godfrey Osotsi, the party leader, rather the deputy party leader. In essence, he deputizes Raila Odinga. He is saying that in March 2025, we signed a 10-point agenda. So everyone has a reference point. Osotsi is in March 2025.
Yeah.
Gladys Wanga is in July 2025. Edwin Sifuna is in September 22nd, 2025, what he had Raila Odinga say. Well, Ledama says he doesn't cite a date, but he says that they were left in the broad-based government, and so they will remain as such. It makes me worry, because if the political party cannot agree on what Raila Odinga said to who, at what point, and what it means for the future of the party, how then can they move the party forward? Remember, under the Constitution and the laws of this country, our democracy is managed partly through political parties. Of course, you can run as an independent, but a great stake is under political parties. If political parties have to wait for the word of the former party leader to say or to show them where they should go, what does it say about that party when it comes to structures?
Yeah.
And using structures and the membership to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because we've had political parties calling for national delegates conferences to make a decision on how do we go in 2027. Now, they refer to the small notes they have from the meetings they had with Raila Odinga, depending on where that meeting was and how happy they were with that meeting. I wonder how soon the ODM party will be meeting. The Executive Committee, Central Management Committee, the National Delegates Conference. And when they meet, will they manage to agree on what the agenda is?
Yeah.
If they agree on the agenda, will they agree on what more should be moved? And by whom? Because I see Edwin Sifuna, he spoke and said that even in a situation where you have open provocation, he's going to stand with what Raila Odinga said. Is that minuted somewhere so that we can say, In our previous meeting, which was held on a particular date, members present were this, and these were the resolutions made. What are they going to base that conversation on? Are they also going, okay, was that funeral service part of that meeting, so that you can say that...
Will those sentiments be minuted somewhere?
Exactly, so that you say that one of our partners who leads the UDA party also says that they are committed to ensuring that the political party does not disintegrate. Honestly, political parties need to be managed better. And for this specific reason, because I know there are people that will throw small stones and big stones to say that ODM party has its own way of making decisions. Political parties are financed by the taxpayers' money. There's a kitty that is set aside by the National Treasury, actually by Parliament. The National Treasury's work is just to facilitate the payment. The Registrar of Political Parties is one who sends those resources to political parties. So ODM has a responsibility to ensure that those resources financed by the taxpayers are utilized properly to propagate the interest of the nation, not personal interest on how to win the next election, whether you're a president, a governor, a senator, an MC, or whatever it is. Anything short of that is to defeat the very essence of why Raila Odinga fought so hard to have multi-party democracy in this country.
Yeah, and I want us to listen to the issue of the political parties, because Raila's death comes at, during the 20th anniversary of the party, and it would seem there are murmurs about the party staying together, and who's trying to break up the political party of ODM. Let's listen to Cabinet Secretary Ali Hassan Joho.
The values of the party, the values and the principles of the party zimewekwa katika roho yangu na Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. And I want to tell you, whoever imagines that anaweza kuvunja chama cha ODM, yeye ndio tutamfukuza, my friend, na ahame, chama kitabaki. Tuelewane namna hiyo. Ukijaribu kugawanya chama, ukijaribu kuvunja chama, wewe ndio utafanya nini? Utahama. Atafanya nini? Atafanya nini? The party will be here to do what? To stay.
Let's listen again to the Secretary General of the party, Edwin Sifuna.
Wherever Baba is, what is it that I can say or do that will actually make him proud? What are the things that we should do as the leadership of the party right now to make Baba smile from wherever he is? And in my view, this is not the time to push divisive narratives in ODM. This is not the time. You all know, nyinyi wote mnajua ya kwamba chama cha ODM ni chama cha kila mtu, si ndio? Chama cha Kenya nzima. Na lazima sisi kama viongozi wa chama tuonyeshe umoja ili hawa ndugu zetu ambao ni wanachama wafuate mfano wetu. Nataka niseme hapa mbele yako Baba, ya kwamba chama hiki ambacho umetuachia, mimi Sifuna sitakuwa baadhi ya wale ambao watachangia kuangusha chama cha Raila Amolo Odinga. Baba, because ODM is one of your biggest legacies, Your Excellency Baba, I as Sifuna will do everything in my power to keep this party united and together. Even in the face of open provocation, Baba, you know what I am talking about. You know why I'm saying that.
Why has he said that? He says, you know why I've said that. Why do you think? What's happening here? I mean, there's lots of shadow boxing that's happening here. Iko mtu anataka kuvunja chama, mwingine anasema...
There's no shadow boxing. There is a shouting match. It's a funeral.
Yeah.
The party leader has not been buried, and people are raising their voices.
It would sound like it's a funeral for ODM as well.
Well,
going by those statements.
Yes, and it's as if the speakers are just about to be buried because they are screaming, they are shouting. And you wonder, what is it? What are you shouting against? It's an argument against who? Who are you responding to? I think the tone of the leaders of ODM was really interesting because they were they appeared to be in a fight. They appeared to be in a contest of sorts. And they leave this for our interpretation. And our interpretation is twofold. One is the scramble for the leadership of ODM has started, because for the last 20 years plus now, Raila Amolo Odinga was the party leader, and the face of the party is now gone, and obviously there's a massive vacancy there. The second struggle that was going on here, I have to reluctantly put this across, it was to catch the attention of President William Ruto. That's the only way I can interpret it. That, look, we are the defenders of the broad-based government. And this is how we sound. Because I cannot explain this tone in any other way, except that now that in the absence of Raila, where does the attention shift to, especially if broad-based, and under the current broad-based arrangement? You could see a number of those speakers there who are on the opposite of Sifuna, were pro-broad-based and pro an arrangement that will go beyond the 2027 election. And then you have Sifuna and maybe James Orengo, who sound like they are for a different approach, a different direction. And the president responded by sounding like the incoming patron. I will not allow the party to go to this direction. I will not allow the party to be taken to the opposition. And some is asking, Locus Tandai, and as who? Is it in what capacity? And some years back, there was a time that the president used to be the chancellor of all universities. So
maybe he's the chancellor of all parties.
All the parties. If there is a vacancy there, the president will not allow that party to split. It is going to do, God help him, everything to make sure that the party is united. But what is the reason? Why is the president putting everything into the unity of ODM? It is because he is angling to succeed the base of Raila Odinga. It's a very big base, cultivated over 20 years, a lot of loyal supporters. You just need to look at the funeral. The funeral itself is something that politicians can be jealous about. They look at those numbers and they wish people can scream for me like this as long as I'm alive, especially for elections and other things. It is an enviable crowd. Raila had a very loyal support base. And President Ruto is looking at that. And increasingly, he's looking at re-election, 2027. So the math has to include, what do I do with this Raila base that is huge and waiting?
I want us to listen to him saying exactly that, 117, that, will respect ODM.
Because Baba believed in political parties, he built the largest political party, ODM. I want to tell you, we will respect ODM. We will support you to hold ODM together. ODM must be strong as we go to 2027, because that is the way we are going to have a strong government. Political parties are the foundations of any meaningful democracy. And therefore, the future of ODM, the strength of ODM, the well-being of ODM matters a great deal to me, because that is how we are going to have a strong nation, by having strong, vibrant, national political parties.
Sam, just for context, you know, the future of ODM means a great deal to him and for strong nations. So he believes in the strength of ODM today. But is that what he thought a few short years ago, a few short months ago? What did he call ODM?
Once upon a time, kulikuwa na chama cha fujo, cha kurusha mawe. And on that point, about foundation of democracy...
Mama, they are here.
Foundation of democracy, strong and vibrant political parties. I've heard that before. I want a strong opposition. I've heard it. We've covered it. We've discussed it. Remember what? On election, who was the majority party in the National Assembly? It's called Azimio. Azimio Coalition.
Azimio.
Comprising ODM.
Yeah.
There was Jubilee. Then there was a Wiper Party.
Not Kenya, was it?
And others.
Yeah. Who's the majority leader today? Does it come from Azimio?
The majority leader is from Kikuyu, UDA Party. Okay. That is Kimani Ichung'wah.
Okay.
At the same time, there's a ruling that was made by the Speaker, and the High Court said it was unconstitutional. It couldn't hold.
Yeah.
Because as the tally was, those were not the numbers.
Right.
They were asked to go and revise. So they went back to the House. They did their interesting things. You will recall just after the AUC contest, when Raila Odinga was seeking to be the chairperson of the AUC Commission. And the decision by the Speaker was no, based on the information available to me and also from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, Kenya Kwanza is the majority party. Junet Mohammed was very annoyed, also it seemed.
For a short while. Very brief period.
was also annoyed. And she said, yes, there's a broad-based government, but it's not based. It is broad government, but not based. They went to Ethiopia after those sentiments. While in Ethiopia, after the AUC loss, there was a dinner in Addis Ababa. And William Ruto said that if the Gen Z movement yielded the sort of unity we now have, imagine what the broad-based government will do. It will bring a moment for the country that has never been seen before. Why was he saying those things? Because the ODM base was hurting.
Yeah.
How didn't the government grant Raila Odinga a win? To secure the emotions, he made those pronouncements. What did you see? Shortly after, I think the following week, they convened, and we had a 10-point agenda.
Yeah.
The one that Edwin Sifuna showed up in the way he did, and to read a statement and say that he was reading it because he's the Secretary General of the party. And quickly, that became the essence of what we see now. You recall that Raila Odinga came and said that they gave me documents to sign. You remember that meeting at the coast? Yes. They gave me documents to sign. I told them I have to go and consult. Yeah. He did a few rounds in the country, came back, and we saw what we saw. I think it was the 7th of March. Things have gone so wrong that at some point, you remember the joint parliamentary group meeting, which was after the funeral of Phoebe Asio. Raila Odinga made the announcement that the following week there would be a parliamentary group meeting, a joint one. Yeah. It went the way it did because it was fireworks. The MPs were very annoyed because they were called extortionists. Yeah. But still, William Ruto, the president, has continued to meet different delegations from different regions in a way to cool down the tempers. And he has actually succeeded. Give it to him as a political master that he is. But now, where we are at this point in time, it's so murky to an extent that you don't even understand what exactly you're dealing with. The president has forgotten that he was in a coalition between UDA, ANC, and Ford Kenya and other political parties, the likes of DP. ANC merged into UDA. Ford Kenya is still hanging in there. The party leader is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, now promising to protect the largest political party. We have seen what the promise of protecting opposition means, what protecting Jubilee Party means. Yeah. Remember, there was a rift in that party and a struggle for many years up until eventually Uhuru Kenyatta retained the leadership of that political party. I will not be surprised to hear a few months or years from now, ODM may never be the same again. We may never know what hit it.
Yeah, and
Yvonne, you know, Elina's mentioned what's at stake, and you talk about the future of ODM. There are people in this country who voted for Raila Odinga 5 times. From the first time he ran for the presidency until 2022. And he talked about how his base has grown over that period. By 2022, August, 6,942,930 people voted for the Azimio candidate, Raila Odinga. That was 48.8% of the vote. ODM was Raila Odinga's party for 20 years. The identity of ODM is tied to Raila Odinga. When I was listening to those leaders speaking at his burial, I kept thinking about how this is the usual where leaders decide for us which directions we will go as a people. It's not up to us. It is up to them. And wataamua tutaenda wapi, and then look for a platform to tell us where we are going. Ndo tufuate. We have no voice in this. But all those people speaking need to remember that this is what Raila Odinga has left you. This is his legacy, ODM party. He has left you 6.9 million people. There could be more. And you need to handle it well. You need to get your house in order and tell these people this is the direction we're going. Not for your own self-serving interests, but for the interests of those people. So this is very delicate. Hii ni legacy mchukue mwambie chukueni ndio hii. How you take it forward, as those leaders scramble there for who said what and said what where, will be very important kutueleza tunaelekea wapi, especially these 6.9 million people who voted for Raila in 2022.
That's an eye-watering number, and now maybe that's why we understand, you know, what the battle is for. Yeah. That's a huge number, and like you say, those are the ones who voted. You know, the support base is certainly larger. As we close, my closing thoughts on this is how, sadly, even the people who claim to be, you know, the proponents of devolution and a just and fair and equitable democracy that ensures that everybody gets what they deserve, are the people who are giving this idea that being in the opposition is a bad thing and is a bad name. So there's this clamor to go back into the center. We will either form government or be in government. It's being in the opposition is on the outside. And we've worked such a long way, including Raila Odinga himself, to move away from the siasa mbaya maisha mbaya. So if you're not singing the tune of the government, if you're not in government, then you don't get development, then, you know, funds don't come to you. So those words in the Constitution, funds follow function, that means nothing to these leaders because there is this clamor to be part of government. We will not allow you. In fact, William Ruto is the one who says it, the president, mukue kule nje kwenye opposition. What is that? What are you saying? When the head of state says that, does this mean that this is how decisions are made as to allocation of resources and development of all parts of the country? This is where we are now. And this is being done by the proponents of this constitution that says it is the grassroots that decide, that moved us from a very painful past of where just standing up to critique the government meant that you would be out in the cold, no development, no hospitals, no roads. Those are the people who don't want to be in opposition. It's a bad thing. It's, you know, it's a dirty word, and it's, you know, it's for the pariahs and the lepers and, you know, who go out into the desert to go and wait to die.
Yet the hero of that moment
is
spent 45 years in public life.
Fighting for
only about 9 or 10 in government. 5 as prime minister. Could be less. About 3 in the first Kibaki government. Less than 3. And about 1 in Moi's government, if I'm not mistaken on the numbers. He was an MP for 20 years. But the balance of that, he was in the opposition, really.
Right.
So I mean, let's not confuse issues. Because when the same leaders have in the past called out Raila Odinga as leading Kibera to poverty.
Lord of poverty.
Lord of poverty. And blaming him for the underdevelopment. Yet during that blame, they were in government.
I mean, I just want to say there is a direct relationship between our first topic and the second topic.
I think Yvonne, our first word summed it up. all these fights are meaningless. We have a constitution. It's our true north. If these are leaders who mean well for the legacy of Raila Amolo Odinga, then all that they're talking about is solved by this constitution. It's just to implement it. Doesn't require...
Perhaps that by reading it.
Exactly, and understanding it, so that they implement it.
Yeah.
It will go a long way in solving their issues.
Yeah. It's a good place to...
Maybe just one rallying call from me.
Yeah.
To everybody who loved Raila Amolo Odinga. I'd encourage each and every one of them to plant a tree in memory of Raila Amolo Odinga. If you are so passionate and you realize the impact that Raila Amolo Odinga had in this nation, please plant a tree and grow it as well.
Yeah.
It would be a lasting memory for you to remember Raila Amolo Odinga.
It's a good place to end it. Thank you for watching the show tonight. Have a good night, everybody.